Hello and welcome to another video on the Not Your Average Vids channel. Today I'm going to be doing a Forza 7 wishlist video. The gameplay in the background is me just going around Forza 6, driving some cars on some ovals that don't exactly belong there. And then the last clip is me struggling to drive a Hudson Hornet around Daytona. So, the official reveal will be at E3, and it's about a week. It starts June 13th. I have some specific cars that I'd like and some less specific things. Top of the list is they currently, in the most recent Forza game, which was Horizon 3, do not have the original Mustang. So I'd like that in the game. The second thing on the list and the most important thing is NASCAR. More NASCAR than what they had, and in the base game. I don't want to pay more for it again. And even more types of cars. Maybe we get some Xfinity cars or some truck cars too. Or maybe some legacy style cars. Maybe like some 70s NASCAR cars, some 90s NASCAR cars. The early cars, the 50s cars, the 60s cars, something like that. Formula 1 cars is third on the list. Motorcycles, fourth on the list. Drag cars. I feel like this could be really interesting. Especially get the people that are really good at tuning. You could have some really interesting online drag races. And what really shocked me is that there are Ford F-150s, but there are no Silverados. So I'd like to see Silverado in the game. And along to go with the car, I like the deepest customization ever for a Forza game. Like, full every part can be changed, switched out with 6 or 7 different options. Not just like the Forza splitter and stuff like that. Big options, big thing. Full customization. And then maybe have an option for quick path. Say you have a 32 Ford. You can have the street rod, quick path, the cruiser quick path, the race car quick path. And you click on this, it gives you the price, and it automatically upgrades it to what you want it. And body kits, like on Forza Horizon 3. I think body kits are a pretty cool idea. That kind of goes along with the quick paths. Porsches for free. Volkswagen is not in Forza Horizon 3, but I'd really like to see him back in Forza 7. Karts. This kind of is for the career mode. I mean, I don't know if you could... I guess it would be fun to have some go-kart type things in free race and free play, but I feel like that would be mostly for the career. Buggies and off-road racers. So let's and this will make more sense when I get into the tracks I want. Some rally cars and some dirt oval cars and some low-level races too, like some Indy-like cars, or even as low-level as some late model cars, street stock cars, stuff like that. Now for some tracks I want. Number 1 on the list is not the most important to me, but it is Monaco. I'd like to see Monaco. The tracks on this game look amazing, and the environments look amazing. I can't imagine what Monaco would look like. And it would be a fun track to race. I mean, it's one of the major events in motorsports, and you can't do it on Forza Motorsports. Proper drag strips. Like actual, real-life places that are drag race. And in general to tracks, more surface detail, more surface wear. I feel like some of the tracks kind of wear evenly, and they shouldn't. Ovals. Ovals is the most important thing. I got some examples like what I'd like to see oval-wise, if they don't go ahead and just put all the NASCAR ovals in the next game. Talladega would be fun. I know some of you who don't know a lot about NASCAR would think this is just like Daytona, but it's not. It creates a different atmosphere of racing, especially if there's pack racing. So if you were to take Indy cars out there, or Formula 1 cars, or NASCAR cars, there would be drafting. And it's bigger than Daytona, and the start-finish line is located not in the tri-oval, but down the chute, which would mean a run on the outside line coming out of the tri-oval to the start-finish line. Darlington is very narrow, and I can't express how much I'd like to see some open wheels at Darlington, because it would be fast. It's a relatively fast track for NASCAR cars, and it's really weird shape. So, turns 1 and 2 are a sharper turn than 3 and 4. Bristol has high banks. And it's a short track. There are currently no short tracks for ovals in Forza. The only track besides super speedways in Indianapolis they have is Homestead, which is what I feature in the gameplay videos a lot, because it's the track that takes the most skill to drive in the current Forza thing. Bristol would be really fun to see some cars in there. You get some old cars, some really fast cars. I do think that the Indy cars could come pretty close to wide open around Bristol, which would mean about a 8 to 9 second lap time. Phoenix would be a track that is most likely to get added, considering the Indy cars do run there. Indy cars are historically in Forza games. And it's described as a road course with only left turns. So it's technically an oval, it's technically not. Charlotte, which is the basis of oval racing. Dover, which is another high bank fast track, similar to Bristol, but not exactly. It's a little bit rougher and bumpier. And Pocono, which is a triangle. It's a really odd track and is very, very wide. So imagine some Indy cars, how wide they get at Indianapolis. You could probably get 6 Indy cars down the front stretch of Pocono. Now into the most complicated segment of it. Oh, I'm not done with the tracks yet. I'd like to see some legacy tracks. Like under Indianapolis, put brick. Let's have an original brick Indy. Or another legacy track would be North Wilkesboro. For y'all that are not NASCAR fans and don't know what that is a old oval track that is very historic, but is sadly falling apart because nobody wants to do anything with it. And dirt. Both dirt ovals and off-road racetracks, like Baja Racing and stadium trucks and stuff like that. That would be really, really fun to have on a Forza game. In the career mode, I really, really want a in-depth career mode. Right now in Forza, it's just running races. I want you to develop a career with different career paths. I want you to start in karts or street cars. Like either go-karts or like hatchback races. So, and then you can go down your path. In the karts, you could do oval racing in karts, or road racing in karts, or road racing in street cars, or road racing in oval cars. But the street cars would kind of be like a street stock kind of thing. The way I want this career to go, the way I want this entire game to go, is bring it to the edge of console racing, but also be versatile enough to bring it to the very edge of sim racing, to almost comparable to an iRacing. I know it's not comparable to iRacing. I do iRacing, and it's a very different experience. It's a different motivation to drive. And I know they can't get as realistic as iRacing. But I want them to close the gap to iRacing, but also expanding back towards a more arcade-style game. And this career path would make it a console game through and through, but with the realism, but the ability to have fun, all encompassed. And then from the karts, you would choose your path. In road, you would either continue into more stock type off the line cars, racing on bigger road courses, or designed race cars, like Indy Lights would be along that path. And next in oval would be you either choose, you can go race dirt late models and stuff like that, or asphalt late models. In both paths, there are options to try out dirt races. So say in road courses, your dirt race opportunities are going to be stadium trucks. And if you like that, you pursue more of those races. And the way you enter races is by entering other races. The money system, you have to pay your entry fee. And this is where it gets a little bit more complicated too. There's also going to be, I would like a sponsor system. I think that would work really good. Like where the better you run, the more opportunities or races you get to run, because the more sponsors you have, the more money you have. And I would like it, if they do go this way, that the paths can cross. Maybe if you're oval racer, you get an opportunity to run a couple road races a season, just to see it out. And I would like some actual real world races dinner, like a Monaco race, a Daytona 500, a World 600 at Charlotte, an Indy 500, the 24 hours of Le Mans, the 24 hours at Daytona. Stuff like that would help your career goal. And what I'd want the career goal to be is be the biggest name racer. Build the biggest brand for yourself. And build a race team. That's the whole basis, is get your race team, the apex of oval racing, or both. I would want the career to last a good 2 years. Considering that is the space between the current Forza Motorsports, I would want the career to last that entire time. A customizable driver. Make the driver you. I want you gotta have, right now it feels like you're just kind of running races with the car. I mean, you want to be able to feel like you're the driver. Customizable branding. Build your race team, build your race team's logo. Online career events. So say the day before the 24 hours of Le Mans, Forza or Turn 10 puts on an online 2.4 hours at Le Mans. And this would help toward your career. Customizable race suits. The sponsor system. Run good, win big, name races, get sponsors. Sponsors multiply how much money you make per race. The more money you have, the more races you can enter, the better race cars you can get, the faster you can make your cars. And I'd like there to be 2 separate money systems. One for your career, one for your free play, your multiplayer. And the only problem with this is that you'd have to buy cars twice. But I would think they'd do something if going down this path. The only way to be able to fix this would be like give you a discount in free play if you bought the car in career mode. And here's some things that are unprecedented in a Forza game that I would want. Custom tracks, the ability to build your own racetrack and race it with your friends. That would be awesome. Have a whole racetrack of chicanes. I don't know, mashup cars. Certain cars that Turn 10 picks, where you take the best parts of both of them and make a Franken car. Historical races. This goes back to the legacy tracks. In online, I'd want some better lobbies, more racers in lobbies. And in private lobbies, more AI that we can put in the lobbies. Keep cycle production. That is one of my favorite things, race, especially like the All-Star that's been going on recently. That is so fun because you get a wide variety of tracks and cars. And specific division lobbies, like have an Indy lobby, Formula 1 lobby. They already have a NASCAR lobby, but there's not enough oval tracks filled up, so it's kind of hard to play sometimes because NASCAR cars is not going to go around Nuremberg or Le Mans very easily because they are heavy and are meant to go in an oval and certain racetracks. Overall, my biggest complaint about the spin system, which I really like, is that after a certain level, they stop offering you cars to win. I want to continue winning cars because the problem I have is I get a lot of money that I'm trying to decide which car I want. I want them all on the game, then I'm trying to decide which car I want. But if I just spin and win cars, then you're collecting cars throughout your entire racing thing instead of having to decide which car you want. And yes, I want them to completely redesign the menu. I don't like the way the menu like side scrolls like it does now. Maybe a more broad menu to dividing menus instead of scrolling across the entire screen. It's just something I don't like. Better wear on the cars. Make the tire wear, let the car loosen up or tighten up over a run. This have to go back to being closer to iRacing. But also, there are people that don't want to be that close to iRacing and want to be more towards an arcade style game. So let's get some in-depth realism settings. Set exactly how you want the tires to wear. If you want them to wear it all, or twice as much as they would wear, or realistically how they would wear over a run. Say you're running in you want to run a realistic Indy 500, but you only have time to do 50 laps. So you would set the tire wear 4 times. So you'd have to make as many pit stops in that time period, but you'd do it in a shorter amount of laps. And that would also be where you'd have to stretch the fuel for the 500 miles, but only going, what was that, 150? Yeah. And maybe there's some aero settings, because sometimes it feels right now that cars are too stuck to the ground. There's too much downforce in all the cars on the game. Except for that Hudson Hornet I just drove. That thing had 0 downforce. And then, talking about the tires and pit stops and stuff, I'd like better pit stops. Maybe because when I race, I like doing fuel mileage races. But I want to come down pit road and just get fuel, because the car's still handling good. Why do I need to put on tires and waste that extra time? I just need to splash fuel to get those last 5 laps to make my strategy work. But I have to make a complete stop. And kind of want pit road speed limits, because right now there is a glitch. If you lose control of the car as you're coming on pit road at a certain speed, you will get serviced but not have to stop in your pit box. It's really easy to exploit during a race. So this would actually add penalties to the game, which is another thing I don't want in the game. Make the racing more realistic, but have settings for that. Maybe you don't want that. So I think that's going to conclude my Forza 7 wish list. Let's see how much of it comes true. Probably not a lot of it's going to come true. I did kind of go broad. Though the most thing I want is oval tracks. Oval tracks are just... I'm an oval racing fan. That's what I like. The thing I really don't think is going to come is dirt, sadly. I would really like dirt. It's on the wish list, but I don't think it's going to come. I think the career is going to be much better. And the customization is going to be much better. If you look at Forza Horizon 3, some of the cars, maybe they were testing off-road on Forza Horizon 3, and maybe that's why they did that. And I think NASCAR will be free, because it's very liked in the Forza 6 community. So that's all I got for today. Let's see how it turns out. E3 is June 13th through the 15th, and we'll find out. Probably have a reveal trailer. That's all I got.